we're going to be talking about the Reign of Terror. So this picture is of a guillotine, and as you know, this was the primary method of execution during the Reign of Terror and during the French Revolution in general. So here is how the Reign of Terror began. So we had many of the French citizens during this time being very critical of the revolution. They weren't too excited about what was going on. As we discussed yesterday, it was mostly the radical leaders like Robespierre, Marat, Danton, who were they were enthusiastic about violence, while most of the French citizens and other Europeans did not think that that was the best course of action. Since so many people were critical of what was going on, the revolutionary leaders, the radicals like Robespierre, were concerned that there was going to be a counter-revolution where people were going to rise up against the revolutionaries and try to fight back. So, as a precaution for this, Robespierre gets the idea to form what was called the Committee on Public Safety. And he forms this committee under the guise of protecting people. He says that we need to form this committee to protect everybody in France, that the revolution is helping. We want to stop anybody who would try to interfere with the revolution. And so begins this series of accusations, trials, and executions. And ironic because, as we mentioned yesterday, Robespierre was initially against the death penalty. And yet here he is, seeming very hypocritical, as he executes thousands upon thousands of French citizens who express any doubts or any negativity about the revolution. And it's important to note that nobody was safe. Nobody was safe during this time. Not the nobles, definitely not the peasants, and even the revolutionary leaders themselves. We talked yesterday about how Danton was actually initially a revolutionary leader alongside Robespierre. And when he started speaking out against Robespierre and the lengths to which Robespierre had gone to keep the revolution alive, Robespierre had him executed. So it's important to realize that this was a time where everybody was afraid. It was a constant fear. People did not trust each other. You were afraid to talk to anybody because you didn't know who was a spy. It was a very, very chaotic time. So the Reign of Terror lasts for approximately a year. And in that almost year, we see over 40,000 people executed. Now, most of those were by guillotine, but we did have other methods of execution going on throughout the French countryside and within the city of Paris itself. Over 40,000 people in less than a year. So the National Convention eventually realizes that Robespierre has kind of gone too far. And he is captured and he is executed. And a lot of people said that this was poetic justice, since he was executed in the same manner that he had been killing so many others. Now, with Robespierre out of the way, Reign of Terror is over. The National Convention wants to get France back on track from the extremely radical course they had been on. So they write another constitution, and they restrict voting rights even more to just landowners. Before it was male taxpayers 25 and older. Now it's only male landowners. And they rename themselves again to the Directory. So Now they're no longer the National Convention. They're no longer the Legislative Assembly or the National Assembly. Now they are the Directory, and the Directory is their final incarnation. And the Directory is extremely ineffective. They're not effective policymakers. They're not effective at enforcing policy that is made. And we start to see France sliding back into problems of the old order. Back in 1789, when all of this started, there were a lot of financial problems, a lot of starving in the streets, a lot of unrest among the civilians because they were unhappy. And we start to see the similar situation arising again. So after you've finished with the PowerPoint, I would like for you to take a look at this video. It's a History Channel video, and it is on the Reign of Terror and Robespierre. If the link for some reason doesn't work on your computer, all you have to do is go to thehistorychannel.com and type in Reign of Terror. It's about a 4-minute video, and just take a look at that. It'll kind of put into perspective what I've just talked to you about. And then finally, as a wrap-up, I would like for you to write a Facebook status as if you were an ordinary citizen living during the Reign of Terror. And I would like it to be at least 3 sentences long. And I would like for you to post your Facebook status on my blog by 3:00 p.m. today. If you have any problems at all posting to the blog, you can send me an email with it. That's not a problem. And have a fantastic break.